I've been anticipating this film for about a year now. And now that I got my chance to check it out, I am thoroughly satisfied. Let's jump into my review of the new film, The Black Phone. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film The Black Phone, which is coming to theaters finally June 24th. And man, it's been a long road with this film. I actually attended Fantastic Fest 2021, and whatever bit of scheduling conflict or glitch, I missed out on this film. And when I realized I missed out, I tried to reach out to see like, hey, can I still check it out? And unfortunately, I was unable to. That then sparked a couple of different thoughts for me. Number one, I said, well, if the film is unavailable now, because after that, it just was gone from the film festival circuit. It's a good film. It means it's been purchased. It means somebody wanted to invest. Therefore, the next train of thought is like, well, let's see when it hits theaters. And a whole bunch of different things happening, including the pandemic, and it kept getting pushed back. But finally, it's released, and like I said, I'm thoroughly satisfied. Another thing to kind of think about is that I would assume that this film was filmed in 2020 and for it to be released in 2022, I think that it definitely still holds. There's been a few cases of films that have been pushed back numerous times that, it doesn't really stand the test of time already in 2 years. It got dated really quick, and films with bigger budgets as well, might I add. But this one I thought still did a very good job on that note. Lastly, I should add really quickly in my quick little tidbits is that performances up and down the board was good. We'll get more into that, but I love the fact that this film just paid so much homage to classics like It, particularly It. There's a lot of things in this film that you will see and will notice in terms of either want to considering it an Easter egg, a reference, or a nod to It. Yellow raincoat, balloons, all sorts of different things. Kids being abducted, it does, and like that's pretty cool. It is a classic. And to pay respect to a classic, and then kind of really still giving this its own really refreshing feel to this film, because this is definitely its own. I thought that was really, really dope. But in this film, taking place in 1978, you got 5 kids that go missing in this little small town in Colorado, and now Finney Shaw becomes the 6th victim to gone missing, this kid. And here's the thing, all these kids are males, they're young boys, and the interesting aspect about that is when you start to kind of build a profile on who the killer is, the grabber, they don't actually explain why he targets exactly this type of human, And with that sort of mystique, you really don't know how or what to trust in terms of what he may do next, and ultimately what his relationship with Finney's going to be. Because with that, he upon abducting you, he's sort of trying to come off as like a friend, and a little bit confusing, a little bit of a hard read, but kind of like you can't tell if it's a game or if he's actually kind of being sincere of like, hey, I'm just kidnapping you because I want a friend or whatnot. But like the fact that we don't actually know why he targets who he targets, this brings another layer of mystery to everything. And the other side of this is that Finney, who we kind of see this character develop like maturity over the span of him being kidnapped. I mean, he was bullied, he didn't stand for himself, ultimately resulting into him having to fight for survival, fight for his life, and he's he has an abusive household with his dad, who's an alcoholic, who we've seen abused his sister, definitely grieving with the loss of their mother, and then he's bullied at school, so like he really doesn't have a lot of like self-confidence at all. And now that he has to kind of tap into these things that he doesn't have, for survival, it's like a very interesting thing. But then that brings the question, the black phone. So in this little room that he's like being held in, there's a phone that is clearly disconnected. The wires are cut and everything. but the victims of the past call him in order to help him go through stages of survival, helping him build confidence, helping him to sort of become independent, or teaching skills that they had to embed in him as they can collectively all together survive. Now, I know some people may not like this aspect of it, but when he picks up the phone and he hears the voices of the kids and he recognizes who they are and they're like channeling one another, it's really cool. I really love the filming of how this was done with him in this little, box, little prison of his, picking up the phone, seeing the kids somewhere within the room, all sorts of different styling of shots that they got, really low light, really mystique, creepy, definitely some supernatural stuff kind of going on as well too. Tons of jump scares, but it's really good. I really thought, in terms of where they made their money at, right in these scenes where that phone rung, I was just anticipating what's next, what are they gonna do next, how are they gonna shoot this differently and whatnot. And it was so cool. Each and every time, each and every one of the previous victims called, you got something different. I thought that was really dope. Mason, who plays Finney, I think, to be honest, I don't think it was a hard performance, sort of say, because we've seen these type of characters previously. But to that note, the fact that he was able to play this character and put that type of respect in that character, and and what I mean by respect is the nods to these type of characters in this genre of the past, he fits right in. He understood the assignment and executed to the utmost. Ethan Hawke is the grabber, absolutely fantastic. Hard read, very mystique, very chilling, very creepy. The voice work that he did was really well. What do you expect? It's Ethan Hawke. I also gotta kind of give Madeline, who plays Gwen, Finney's sister, who was the most entertaining part of this film for about the first half. She was much watch, to the point that I was thinking maybe she gets kidnapped. And I would love to see how that's going to be, because she's the little feisty sister, really took me back to my childhood in terms of how she teased her brother, how she stood up for her brother. Just those girls that, wasn't taking nothing on the playground. She was a hard one, but then you saw the relationship with her dad, who abused her and whatnot, and still tried to, love him. But also she has a connection, sort of say, to her mother, because in her dreams actually create abstracts into reality. The things she sees in her dreams, she actually sees these things in real life. And so basically her dreams aren't just dreams, they're actually kind of clues for things, which she goes on an investigation to try to find her missing brother. Also, there's a character, Max, played by James Ransom. For the very short time that Max is in this film, Max is unhinged and hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing at the character, Max. It was so funny. But overall, I think just everything coming together in this film really worked. I love the cinematography of this film. I love the visuals itself, especially, like I said, when that phone rung and the different things that was happening. I also kind of love this sort of Home Alone sort of aspect to it. There was a cat and mouse aspect to it, because the grabber, when he came to visit Finney within his prison room, it was sort of every single time, he's trying to figure out a way to escape, but he also is trying to figure out a way to kind of lure him in order to try different things in order to bypass him. But also you have the grabber, who's also sort of just waiting at the top of the stairs, now, if you come up here, I'm gonna kill you, type of thing. And that's what was really cool, is this film had a lot of different elements to it that one way or another you're going to enjoy. And then, as I said, the nods to It and some of the other classics in the horror genre, I love it. I love the fact that you can watch a film, see a reference to another film, knowing that it truly is a reference to that film, because that's what a lot of just horror films do. They respect the classic, they respect the great, so they want to make sure that in their film, that not only do they put out a good film, but they pay respects to the ones that came before that. And that's what this film just did really good, So The Black Phone is a no-brainer, a film that you want to check out. It is the hype. I think the trailer is really good, and that's a good indication of what you think you may get. I'm here to say that you will get. It's that good. So when the phone rings, are you going to answer the call? That's the thing. And that's another little thing too about this little supernatural phone that's ringing and how it's working, and that whole relationship that Finney gets with the previous victims before him. And yeah, I'm telling you, like, you're gonna have a good time, and just be ready, because you will be jumping out of your seat. Gets a little gory too, I should add as well too. But yeah, you're going to have like self-commentary as well too. You're going to want to be a part of this film. You're going to be thinking like, Finney, do this, do that. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. And also with Gwen trying to find her brother and whatnot. And even some of the high school things that kind of happened. There was other characters that I enjoyed as well too. Some of the victims as we kind of see them before they was abducted. And even the abduction scenes were pretty cool as well too. Everything, I just enjoy so much with this one. I probably could talk about another 10 minutes, but I am going to end now because I want you to check it out. Then jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about it. And then as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.